Four Nights of the Apocalypse Chapter 121 is out, and this was another good chapter for a multitude of reasons. I do have a bit of disappointment, but the setup is for something that I do kind of expect to happen in this arc, so it's kind of okay, I'll leave it at that. But either way, this chapter overall was still another really good chapter, and it amps up the tension for this arc, showcasing that the characters that we're facing right now aren't just fodder and are a force to be reckoned with for our group, as well as giving certain characters some actual challenge. Before we get into the video, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on this channel, and once more keeps me very motivated to cover this series on a weekly basis. Not only that, but the anime comes out in less than a month from now, so here's hoping that I can add that to these regular videos, that way to give you guys a bit more content. But with that out of the way, let's get right into the chapter. Chapter 121 of the Four Nights of the Apocalypse, titled If Not You, Then Who? As it starts with Tristan battling against the Testament Beast, as he's trying to essentially wake up the demons from basically being controlled by chaos. Tristan manages to fight this thing's giant ass sword and parries each and every blow. Tristan then tells him to not lose to the Chaos Staff, saying, "Don't you have any pride as part of the Demon Clan?" But then he flashes back to what Schwartz said when he basically beat the crap out of him like 10 chapters ago, as he just goes on as he remembers what he says. "I see you have no self-respect whatsoever, neither as a goddess nor a Demon Clan member." And in that moment of hesitation, Tristan gets punched square with the Testament Beast, and he gets smashed into the wall, and he is unconscious. A certain video that I did last week might actually be more relevant than I ended up being. Go check that out, by the way. I actually like it, and I kind of talk about how Tristan's kind of had it rough in this series after the illness arc. Kind of sucks that he basically got folded in one square hit, but that was his own fault for getting distracted and getting in his own head. But right as the Testament Beast is going up to try and finish off Tristan, Cheon actually comes with the save. I can't believe I have to say that. Cheon comes in with the save, using his gnome to use the ground grabber attack to grab the Testament Beast's legs as it falls on its hands and knees. And then Isolde appears on the creature's back, stating that there's no mercy for Tristan's enemies no matter what, as she lands a barrage of blows with her mace to use her time bomb attack, leaving the little bits of the bombs so that they could explode. She says, "Pray for your own sake," as the bombs explode, forcing the Testament Beast's head to be planted right into the ground. With the combined attack, devout prayer. A really quick thing I want to say. I like how, since we have a much bigger group this time around and it's just a different team of people, I like that we're getting some more team attacks and combos. I feel like this was a bit underutilized in Seven Deadly Sins since a lot of the fights were one-on-ones. So I like that Four Nights, with this whole group dynamic, is focusing a bit more on the team attacks for certain enemies. Also, Isolde just looks really cool, as I feel like she would just look badass if she just walks away from an explosion. I'm just saying. Anyway, Donnie and Naziennes are basically fanboying over how they ended up being a really good team. Cheon tells Isolde to hurry up and rescue Tristan, but as she's about to go check on him, she's struck in the chest with an arrow and she collapses on the ground. Cheon wonders what's going on, as they didn't see anyone go above them, and as he's wondering where someone could be shooting from, he is then struck in the gut with an arrow.
Oh, Christ on a stick. I guess there is a god.
Yes! 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 Finally! Something happens in this chapter that makes me incredibly happy. I laughed when I read this so much. Cheon is finally getting his comeuppance in a way that I am so happy for, after him being a dick for the last, 50-something chapters. Still, he's not gonna die, let's all be real. I doubt Nakaba's gonna kill two characters from a main character group in back-to-back arcs. I mean, it would fit the tone of this basically being like a war, but I feel like that it'd be too soon and you can't kill too many characters off back-to-back. Either way, this just made me very happy. Jian claps on the ground, as it's revealed that the Ranger Knight uses magic ability Snipe. And it was the attack, Death Angle Shot. Let me know in the comments, I feel like I've seen someone in 7 Deadly Sins use the exact same magic ability. So let me know in the comments if this is similar, or if I'm just thinking of something else. But anyway, after Jian is struck with the arrow, Donnie noticing the knight, uses his telepathy, rises him in the air, and then begins to twirl him around to make him dizzy, as then he is stopped as the knight gets flung down to the ground by another knight with a rapier. As she tells him not to mess with them, she begins to use Dead Rain and a thrusting attack on Donnie, but is then blocked by An. And look, I'm just going to say this right here, An has a great showing in this chapter, and I will continue to praise An no matter what, because Wallneck and now here she's getting really awesome moments. Now she did block the attacks, however Donnie was scratched by the rapier, as he is then petrified and turned to stone, as this is this knight's ability. With just a little brush of the blade, they're petrified. An is very confident, as we will soon see why she is so confident, that she says, "So long as you don't touch me, I'm fine, right?" Now, Nazian's like, "Man, Donnie, that's really a funny stance you're in right now. I'll undo this." But then Nazian senses something as a bushel of weapons then get launched straight at him. He manages to parry each and every one of them, as they all seem to be kunai, and is flung by the guy with the, I believe, falcon helmet, as he's not letting Nazians heal Donnie. Which, really quick, I know Donnie, out of the whole group of Team Percival, is probably the weakest in terms of actual, like, full-on combat, but his magic ability is incredibly useful, and now that it's slowly getting stronger, he can actually take out a couple of the enemies if he really needs to, so getting him unpetrified will definitely be a good asset to them overall. But Nazianz is facing against the Falcon Knight, as An is being to parry every single blow from the knight with the rapier. And even the knight states that An is really good. But then another knight with the multi-faced helmet tries to get a sneak attack on An, but then she sees that coming, jumps up, spins around, and lands on a ledge right behind them. And I like how in this little panel we see Nazianz actually like fending off one of the knights, as An is just staring down at the characters that were facing off against her. An then declares that she is on Galahad, a Team Percival, and she won't let Camelot's minions get the best of me. As someone then begins to appear behind her and grabs her arm, she drops her rapier, as it is Rosebank, stating that they'll be the winners here today, and Team Percival is fated to disband today. An is wondering how she got behind me, but Rosebank just says that her ability is called Mimicry. Nothing fancy, but pretty useful in a pitched battle. My guess it's probably camouflage, based off of the small looming panel of her coming in behind An. So, I guess that's probably the ability. It might get explained more, but it is what it is. Rosebank then goes on to say that their goal is to stop the prophesized destruction, and they won't let anybody get in their way. As in this little monologue, we see Qian and Isolde injured with the arrows, Nazianz looking at An being captured, Donnie petrified, and Tristan basically being very intimate with the wall. I'm gonna make jokes about this. I hate Tristan when he gets like bodied like this, but I won't lie that it is kind of funny. But An just says, "Okay, fine, I surrender then." As this actually surprises the rest of the group, wondering what she's thinking, Qian obviously is probably thinking that she's a traitor, but then An does something very, very smart. She tells them that if I surrender, can you tell me one thing? Where was Percival taken? And how can I get him back? Rosebank says a very obvious lie, saying that she doesn't know, and the rest of the match are being like, "Yeah, beats me, maybe that boy's up in heaven now. Sadly, there's no way to bring him back. Nope, no clue at all." As An just smirks and says, "Is that so, huh?" As a full page of just all the Chaos Knights getting slammed down on the ground by the pressure of An's magic ability. Okay, I know I said this when her magic was shown for the first time, when it grew stronger and evolved back in Wallneck, but I will say it right here. Conqueror's Hockey. If she was in One Piece, she would have Conqueror's Hockey flat out. I don't care if that's if her ability is lies right now. This literally looks like a panel of what would happen if someone had Conqueror's Hockey and used it on a army of enemies that was beneath them. I'm just saying, it looks cool, is what I'm saying. And An literally in this chapter proves that she basically took down a whole group of knights with a very simple question. And she also held her own against two, basically, in a very short period of time. Got in a tough spot, used her ability in a very smart way. It's very cool. And I like how all the Chaos Knights being, like, forced down by the gravity of her power are wondering what's going on, what did she do, but An obviously does not answer them in a straightforward way. It's just being like, good question, maybe it's God punishing you. But then Nazienz tells An to look out, as she is then struck surprisingly on the side and is flung across the battlefield. Her arm is cut and she begins to fall to the ground, presumably from, I believe, poison. And then An just comes up with a new rule to her power. Rule 7. It won't work if the target can't speak my language, as the Testament Beast actually got a sneak attack on An as it got up from the ground and hit her with its tail, knocking her out. So they kind of lost the person that is, well, holding down the rest of the knights, at least for the time being. Nazienz, I think, will probably heal her with his poison powers, and she'll get back up and help fight against the knights. But yeah, the Testament Beast is back up, surprising the rest of the group. We get a panel of Tristan smidged into the wall, as Gawain, getting up from the ground, just tells Tristan, can't you hear the voices of those calling for you? If you don't step up here, who will? As the final page is Gawain getting up from the ground, stating, or maybe, if I don't do this, who else is left? Ending the chapter with Tristan unconscious on the wall and Gawain getting up. Now, good chapter, all around. Funny moments, disappointing with Tristan for a lot of people, and I understand that. I am a bit disappointed as well. But this is building up most likely to a Tristan Demon Mark rampage, similar to what happened with Meligalon in the Leonis arc. I am not going to lie, I look forward to seeing that, but I really feel like Tristan does need to work on himself more. And I feel like this could be building up to that. Even though this was stated many times by me and other fans, Tristan's kind of been shafted in the focus of this arc, as Percival's basically been getting most of the focus outside of Tristan, which is a shame, but hopefully this leads up to something else. Now for Gawain, the way this dialogue is put, she's probably just trying to tell Tristan what he's probably thinking, or to get him motivated to wake up, because she is bound by magical chains, so that's mostly the main reason why she isn't able to use her magic powers to break free. At least that's what I'm assuming. The chains do look magical, so that's probably why Gawain can't get up. So what I'm hoping for is, Tristan getting up, reaching his Demon Mark state, maybe having enough self-control to break Gawain out of the restraints, and then the two of them tag team the Testament Beast. That would be pretty cool, because even though it was off screen, Lancelot and Gawain fought a bunch of random demons in Walneck. So it'd be nice if Tristan and Gawain actually tag teamed this Testament Beast. And who knows, maybe buff Gawain will come back. I know I sound hopeful, but it's been like 30, 40 chapters since we saw buff Gawain. I want to see her be in the badass buff form, throwing fists and fighting with her divine sword. I'm just saying. Either way, the way that dialogue is set out, I feel like Gawain might try and use her buff form to break out of the chains with pure force, and then fight on her own until Tristan wakes back up, or Tristan will get up with his Demon Mark, cut Gawain free with enough self-control that he has, and then the two of them, for a short period of time, fight together, and maybe Gawain could actually, knock Tristan out or get him under control. That would be pretty cool, and shows that even though she's not as strong as Lancelot right now, she is strong enough to keep Tristan's demon powers under control until he can fully control it to its fullest. And as we learned from the Grudge of Edinburgh movie, one thing Tristan does want are people that could not only fight on par with him, but those that he trusts to keep him under control and from losing himself. So I feel like this part could also set Gawain up to not only accept the whole group 100%, but for Tristan to see that there are others in his group outside of Lancelot that could keep him from hurting others. Then it would just show Gawain having power on the same level as the rest of the characters. Either way, I'm rambling and speculating. But in this chapter, we basically got two real big sections of this arc set up. All that's left now is Lancelot versus Nanashi. If this is the order that we're going with, setting up each fight for each individual chapter, and then getting the conclusions as it goes on. And that would be really cool. And I cannot wait to see what happens next. But what did you guys think of this chapter? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you disappointed with Tristan basically getting folded again? Only to have to go back to something that happened in the previous arc? Or are you just excited to see Tristan go berserk once more and maybe start getting the development he needs in this fight with his demon mark form? And do you think Gawain will break free? I kind of hope so too. I want to see her be a badass again. And are you excited to get the start of Nanashi versus Lancelot and then cut back to see what's going on with Percival? Let me know in the comment section down below with how do you think everything is going to happen and work out. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really helps and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here, keeping me motivated to make these videos every single week, as well as other stuff that I have planned to do as well. But with all that said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have an awesome day.